In 2004, British scientists extracted a substance called graphene from graphite, which is the material used to make pencils. They won the Nobel Prize for this discovery and left their mark on physics history. Scientists continue to explore graphene's extraordinary potential. These silicon chips are dotted with thin flecks of carbon known as graphene. Just one atom thick and transparent, graphene can sniff out chemicals in the air and disease enzymes in blood. This lab manufactures graphene using a process known as chemical vapor deposition. A technician loads a capsule containing a copper foil sheet into a furnace. He screws a cap on the end of the capsule and shuts the furnace. He activates a system that uses argon gas to drive out oxygen. When the furnace reaches about 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, methane gas and hydrogen are added. A reaction occurs that deposits graphene onto the foil. Graphene can't be seen with the naked eye. A technician applies tiny gold contacts to a silicon wafer and then submerges it in solvent to rinse off the excess gold. The remaining gold bits serve as electrical contacts. A dip in acetone cleans off more of the loose flakes. A final rinse in alcohol removes the rest. Using a diamond-tipped scribe, he scores the silicon wafer and breaks it along the score lines, creating rectangular chips. Another technician deposits liquid plastic onto the transparent graphene on the copper foil. He locks the foil in a machine called a spin coater. It spins at 3,000 RPM. This spreads the plastic evenly across the graphene film on the foil. It also accelerates the plastic's curing process. He then separates the plastic-coated graphene from the copper foil. To do this, he clips a wire to a set of tweezers. Using the tweezers, he picks up a small piece of the plastic, graphene, and copper sandwich and plunges it in the water. The tweezers apply an electrical charge through the copper, causing bubbles to form in the water. These bubbles lift the graphene and plastic film away from the copper. The graphene now clings only to the plastic backing. He scoops the plastic-backed graphene square out of the water, using a large piece of plastic. To remove contaminants, he immerses the square in a series of solutions. In the last solution, he slides the square off the carrier, and the square floats freely. He picks up the silicon chip with tweezers and uses it to retrieve the floating graphene and plastic square. It now sits on the silicon chip. After taping metal stencils over 3 of the graphene-covered chips, he suspends them above gold pellets in a machine known as the evaporator. He closes the evaporator, then turns up the heat. A vacuum pulls the gold toward the stencils as it evaporates. The gold and exposed graphene adhere to one another as they cool and solidify. The technician removes the stencils from the chips, revealing gold horizontal runners between the gold contacts. He transfers a chip to a plasma etcher. He activates the chip, and plasma gas floods the chamber. The gas strips off any graphene that's not protected by gold. Only the gold contacts and gold-covered graphene runners remain on the chip. Solvent dissolves the plastic backing on the graphene runners, taking the protective gold with it, leaving only graphene. The technician now has a graphene sensor chip. It's time to test its sensory powers using antibodies for a certain disease protein. The antibodies attach to the surface of the graphene. She tests the signal from the chip to confirm that it reads the protein correctly. This graphene chip is ready to act as a high-tech sixth sense.